The distress beacon pierced through the void of space, its urgent pulse reaching the nearest coalition station 3 light-years away. Captain Vell of the merchant vessel. Peaceful Venture had sent the message with trembling appendages, his crew, huddled in the ship's core as hostile raiders closed in on their position. Coalition Command, this is Merchant Vessel Registration 749 requesting immediate assistance. We are under attack by unknown hostiles near the Cora Nebula. Our shields are failing and we have wounded aboard. Please send backup immediately. The message crackled through subspace, reaching the ears of Commander Blake at Terra Station. The human officer studied the tactical display, noting the merchant ship's precarious position surrounded by 3 heavily armed raider vessels. Most coalition forces were engaged in operations elsewhere, leaving few options for a rescue mission. "Sir," said Lieutenant Torres from the communication station, "the Peaceful Venture is carrying medical supplies for the Centauri colonies. If those raiders get their hands on those medicines—" Blake nodded grimly. The Coalition had been fighting a losing battle against piracy in the outer systems. These raiders grew bolder each month, targeting vulnerable merchant vessels and civilian transports. Something had to be done. "What forces do we have available?" Blake asked. "The patrol cruiser Morningstar is 3 hours out, sir, but according to the merchant's last transmission, they won't last that long." Blake's jaw tightened. There was one option, though he hesitated to use it. The Experimental Human Task Force had been stationed at Terra Station for months, waiting for deployment orders. Their ship, the Vengeance, was fast enough to reach the merchant vessel in time. "Contact Captain Reed on the Vengeance," Blake ordered. "Tell him we have a rescue mission." Within minutes, the sleek human warship departed from Terra Station, its fusion drives propelling it through space at velocities that would have liquefied most Coalition species. Captain Reed and his crew of 40 humans represented something new in the galaxy. Warriors from a world so harsh that other species had classified it as a death world. The Vengeance dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the Cora Nebula, its sensors immediately locking onto the 4 vessels engaged in the standoff. The merchant ship's shields flickered weakly, while the 3 raider ships maintained a loose formation around it. "This is Captain Reed of the Coalition vessel Vengeance," came the transmission across all frequencies. "You are attacking a Coalition merchant vessel in violation of interstellar law. Withdraw immediately or face the consequences." The lead raider captain, a scarred Vorthak named Grix, laughed at the transmission. His ship alone outmassed the human vessel by 3 to 1, and he had 2 companions backing him up. These humans were either brave or foolish. "Little human ship," Grix transmitted back, "you are outnumbered and outgunned. Turn around and flee or we'll add your wreckage to the merchants." Reed's response was immediate and devastating. The Vengeance accelerated directly toward the raider formation at a speed that should have been impossible for a ship of its size. The raiders barely had time to react before the human vessel opened fire with weapons that burned brighter than stars. The first raider ship exploded in a brilliant flash, its hull unable to withstand the concentrated firepower of human plasma cannons. The second raider attempted to flee but found itself caught in a deadly dance with the Vengeance, which moved through space with an agility that defied physics. Captain Vell watched in amazement from his merchant vessel as the human ship performed maneuvers that would have killed any normal crew through acceleration forces alone. The humans seemed to thrive on the violence of space combat, their ship weaving between enemy fire while delivering precise, lethal strikes. The third raider captain tried to use the merchant vessel as a shield, positioning his ship directly between the humans and their intended rescue target. It was a mistake that cost him dearly. The Vengeance simply adjusted its approach vector and fired through a gap barely larger than the ship itself, the plasma bolt striking the raider's engines with surgical precision. Disabled and drifting, the final raider vessel found itself at the mercy of creatures from a world where survival meant constant struggle against impossible odds. The human boarding parties that arrived were efficient and relentless, securing the raider ship in minutes and taking its crew prisoner. "Merchant vessel Peaceful Venture, this is Captain Reed," came the transmission. "The area is secure. Do you require medical assistance?" Captain Vell could barely comprehend what he had witnessed. 3 heavily armed raider vessels had been eliminated or captured by a single human ship in less than 10 minutes. The stories about Deathworlders had seemed like exaggerations, but now he understood the truth. "We have wounded aboard," Vel replied, his voice shaking with a mixture of relief and awe. "But Captain, how did you—" "Your ship moved like nothing I've ever seen." Reed's voice carried a hint of amusement. "This is normal combat maneuvering. For human vessels, Captain. Our species evolved on a world where everything tried to kill us. We learned to be faster, stronger, and more determined than our environment. When we took that experience to the stars, well, the results speak for themselves." The rescue operation concluded with the transfer of medical supplies to the wounded and the escort of the merchant vessel to safe Coalition space. Word of the engagement spread quickly through trading networks and military channels alike. The galaxy had learned an important lesson that day. When Coalition merchants requested backup and humans answered the call, the definition of overwhelming force took on an entirely new meaning. The Deathworlders had arrived, and the pirates' reign of terror in the outer systems was about to end.